Hey guys, and welcome back to Starcaster Remarks. Alongside Chris, my name is Ryan. We are the official Dallas Stars podcast of THPN. Go and use that promo code THPN the next time you go and use DraftKings Sportsbook. Before we get into today's game today, which I have extreme mixed feelings about, I do want to direct you to the Spits and Suds podcast. Go and check out their stuff. We just recently did an episode with them on Thursday after Gavin did a live episode with us right after the game there against the Ducks. Please go and check out his stuff. It's great stuff from him, and we had a lot of fun discussing Stars hockey with him. But Chris, let's get into this one today because I'll let you have the first words because I'm about to have a fit here regardless of the win here. So I'll let you take the first words for your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, since I can tell you're in a bad mood, I'll go ahead and play good cop. The Stars do what we said that they had to do going into the All-Star break. 6 of 6 points. That's what you wanted to do. That was the goal. They got it. They did it in a pretty bad way, but they took care of it. The frustrating part is these last two games have felt like we've played way better than the score showed up to be. And tonight, especially, I thought the defense was much better than it was in the Anaheim game too. And you cash the check a few minutes early. We talked about how you can't do that on these games when you got your plane ride booked. And that's exactly what they do. They cash it in. The Caps get a chance. They get some hope, and they bury a couple. So overall, you got to be happy with the 6 out of 6 points. You look at where we are overall as the season is. We are in a great spot, right in striking distance for the division lead. Overall, we need to be happy. Lots of stuff to be angry about. I'm sure you'll get to it. But overall, Stars are in a good place heading into the All-Star break.
And this is exactly why you're going first, all right? So, because here's my rant about this, okay? One of the things they talked about in pregame, and it was Brian and Sevi who was talking about it, the Stars have as good a record as the two teams above them right now. And one of them, they eclipsed today, okay? They eclipsed the Winnipeg Jets, and they're now second in the division as of right now. But you cannot allow these kind of games to go to overtime. You cannot. The Stars had a full-on opportunity to get their 22nd regulation win of the season right now. Okay? If you're looking past this right now, and this is the frustrating thing, and because I'm allowed to be frustrated about this because this team is doing well. You have to win this game in regulation. You cannot allow a team that has lost 3 straight in a row, who has consistently not been able to get offense from their top guys, who is like 29th, 27th in the league in goals for. You cannot allow 2 goals in the final 2 minutes of a period in a game you generally dominated. And like throughout the game, I did not have one inclination that we were in trouble. Like even when we were down a goal, when they got the first goal, I was just like, that's okay. We're playing better than them right now. We're gonna get that back. And we did. We got up 2-1. You have to win games in regulation. You have to win games in regulation. And I'm so stinking tired of this. And right now, I'm sorry to say it, but a lot of the blame right now is going on Jake Ottinger. I'm sorry. He's got to play a better game than what he's been giving us the last couple of games. And I understand it's not exactly fair because of what he's done in the past and what he's done for us. And he's just coming off of an injury and stuff like that. But, dude, you got to make a save at some point. Like, you can't. I mean, make a save, man. You can't. There was a really scary moment. We were up 4-2. They got the power play. And then they pulled the goalie. And then I had that sudden inclination of, oh, wait, Otter's only allowed 2 goals in. He doesn't normally do that. He normally allows 3. And that's when I knew, I was like, they're going to score on this, aren't they? They absolutely. You just can't. And I know there's, we can go ahead and talk about this too. I'll stop ranting for a little bit. But on TV, they had sound on one of the replays and the whistle blew as he was grabbing the puck from Otter's leg. That's regardless of the point. I don't care about that, really. I mean, if the refs had not blown the whistle, that would have been a good goal either way. I don't know. I don't really care about how it got to being called a goal by the refs or the reasoning behind it. It was a goal, and the Stars can't allow that. That's just where I'm at with that. What were your thoughts on the whole that whole play and whether it should have counted, whether it shouldn't have, whatever.
Yeah, I'm kind of on board with you. Like, I think it shouldn't have counted.
It
The whistle
it
blew.
does it doesnn't
That's
matter. It
weird.
doesn't
But
matter.
and that's
It
where
should
I'm
have
at.
been a goal.
It shouldn't have been close, really. I mean, there's no reason the Stars even there shouldn't even be the discussion of was that a goal or not. We should have taken care of business well before that, and couldn't do it. I'm kind of on the same page with you on Otter. That's 2 games in a row where it feels like the Stars. And this game was even better than the Anaheim game. Anaheim game, there was 4 or 5 grade A chances right in front of the net, and Otter didn't make him. It's like, okay, he didn't give up a bad goal. It was just they had really great chances. This game, they had probably one good chance, and that was the Mantha chance that hit the post. Other than that, there were some weird ones. The first goal, you
I
get
don't blame him on the
stuttered
first
on.
one.
Yeah, the puck gets jacked, you get frozen up. That can happen. That's kind of unlucky. But the other ones, you have a chance to save those. And that fourth goal just slips through him. I mean, it feels like his biggest strength is his positioning. And tonight he gets beat from beyond the circles multiple times, and it's scary. I mean, obviously he's coming back from the injury, but we can't consistently have our goalie get outplayed like this. This is supposed to be a strength of this hockey team, and it's one of the reasons why we weren't too worried about our blue line going into the season, because we've got a goalie who's been top 5 in the league for 3 years straight now, and we're not seeing it right now. He's got to figure something out. He's got an All-Star week to celebrate his previous season accomplishments, but he's got to figure it out, because we need Otter to be a good team. I mean, it sucks. He's got a rough blue line. Fully agree. The reason we have that is because we knew we have a solid goalie, and he is a solid goalie, and he's going to have the full support of the coaching staff and everybody else, but he's got to figure it out himself.
And maybe the expectations that were placed upon him by us and by the rest of the league in the way that he played 2 years ago in the playoffs against Calgary, maybe those expectations were way too high going into that following season. But he's still our number 1 goalie. He still has to be.
Last year, he was fantastic too, though. He was a top 10 goalie in the league last year, and this year he's not even top 20. So it's a huge drop off. He has to play better, and that's the end of it. I mean, there's no other options for the Stars. Wedgwood is not going to be a good enough goalie to carry us through the entire season. That was proved when Otter got hurt. He's got to play better. He's got a week off to figure some stuff out, and he needs to.
Well, and the other thing about this game also is that, it's not like the Stars have goaltending questions and they're looking at goalies at the trade deadline. That's never been in the books. And even if this, yeah, exactly. Even if this continues, that it's not an option. There's a bigger disparity on the blue line with the defensemen than there is in the goaltending department. But we shouldn't have to worry about goaltending. Like, we should at the very least have average goaltending, and we're not even getting that right now from some of our players. And I'm going to back up. This is probably the first time I'm going to say it in a long while. The defense was good today. All of the defensemen, they were excellent today. The last couple of games, it felt like even
the Anaheim game was bad. There was a lot of chances right in front of the net, and they made a great adjustment tonight. There was that one chance for the net from Mantha that slammed into the post. Other than that, there was not chances from the slot. All these goals went in from distance or were between his legs and got slammed in. But even that one, that shot was from beyond the blue line, or not beyond the blue line, beyond the circles, and he lets it sneak through him, and then it gets deposited. So
it's just frustrating, man.
That's his strength. That's his strength,
yes.
Is like his positioning and being able to make those saves even when he's having trouble seeing. And the fact that he's struggling at his strength is very scary.
And maybe this is the perfect time for him to just kind of chill out, and we'll see how this goes with him being in the All-Star game. He's going to get some time off, as is the rest of the team. And maybe he just needs a little bit of a reset. He'll come back and he'll be the Ottinger that we've seen in the past. So,
and that's the best thing, is that Otter's been playing this way this year. This has been kind of consistent going on. He has a below 900 save percentage for the entirety of the year, but we're still and one of the best years the Stars have had. We are a top 5 year so far going to the All-Star break. 30 wins. That is fantastic. All we need to do is for Otter to figure it out the second half of the season, or even right before the playoffs. He gets hot in the playoffs. This team is maybe the favorite.
Yeah. And that's the frustrating thing about this is they're giving away points to teams that they don't need to be giving points to. And I know that Washington doesn't really affect us in the standings in the Central Division, but you know what? They have definitely given away points this year in opportunities where they could have closed out games, and they just haven't. They just haven't. And then they and
Colorado. You mean
it
those two Colorado
100%
games?
that just like they
We're winning the
should have
division with
won.
those.
Yes, they really are right now. They are. We take those 4 points away from Colorado, and they're below us and Winnipeg.
And we're running away with the division at that point. Really, if you look at it, those games are huge.
So not trying to be Debbie Downer here or trying to be like, because I should be excited. And I was all excited to get on this episode and talk about how great they played today. And then
the other thing,
they do that at the end of the third period.
When they get that penalty kill, I'm thinking, okay, this is a great opportunity for Otter to make a big stand here and have a good night. Because the game ends with 2 goals for Washington, he gets a quality start. He's over 900 save percentage. It was a great opportunity, I felt like, for Otter to get back to where he was, and he didn't take advantage. I mean, that's kind of it for Otter. I feel like we kind of beat that into the ground.
Yeah.
But he's got to play better. I think he will. I think he's going to show up the second half of the season. He's going to figure it out. He's coming off the injury. We got to remember that. He's got a week to rest, to get fully better, hopefully. And I feel like he's going to figure it out as we head down the stretch.
Okay, let's jump off of that. And sorry for my negativity, or not even negativity, just frustration more than anything. But there were so much good things to talk about in this game tonight. Like, seriously, there were so many different players, different things that happened in today's game that we should be really excited about and happy about. We already talked about how well the defense played today. I mean, all 6 guys, Nils Lundqvist even had a pretty good game today. Really good bounce back from the game on Thursday. Harley again does his stuff. Miro had that one really bad turnover that he gave to McMichael, but thankfully nothing came of that. Suter looked really good. There were a couple times I said, I wrote down in my notes, good D Suter, good D Yanni, good D Esa Lindell. And it was just all 6 guys were really good tonight. So anybody in particular do you kind of like to highlight out of that group of 6? There's a pretty obvious one in my opinion.
For that, I am so predictable. Nils Lundqvist, I thought he was a great bounce back game. For how bad he played against Anaheim, he played so much better tonight. He looked dangerous offensively. He was protected more. It would not like he was before the Heiskanen injury, though. He still gets 16 minutes tonight. There was games earlier in the season he was getting 13 minutes and 12 like Hanley was. So he's given a good solid ice time tonight, and I thought he had a good bounce back.
I really want to get into Thomas Harley a little bit. Obviously, he gets the game winner that shouldn't have been necessary, but nonetheless, he does get the game winner in overtime for the Dallas Stars today. What about his play in particular has really impressed you? Because there's one thing, in my opinion, that I really liked.
I mean, for me, it's the aggression. Whenever he is in the offensive zone, he's trying to score. He's not trying to make a play. He's not trying to find a perfect pass. He's finding a way to put the puck in the net. And I saw a stat just before we get on here. He is he's tied for the league lead with overtime goals. Everyone, not just rookies, not just defensemen, the whole league. He has tied for the most overtime goals. And he's also got a signature celebration now, the one-handed stick slam every time he scores an OT goal. I'll take that. Just drop the hammer afterwards. I love it.
Right, and he gets his. I'm assuming it's his first multi-goal game today as well. He gets
Probably.
2 goals today. That first goal was a thing of beauty. Like it was very deceptive in how beautiful it was because it was a perfectly placed shot. It wasn't like top shelf or anything like that, but it was right at the edge on the bottom,
right over the
past
pad.
the pad. Yeah, yep. Exactly. So
and beating the first shot blocker too, and the Washington shot blockers up top were pretty good tonight, and he got past them too.
But what's really impressed me the most about him is, unlike some other players that we have talked about in the past, these young guys who have not come up and have not kind of taken the reins and when they've been given the chance, he has fully embraced and he is fully confident as the number 2 guy in Dallas right now. And when Miro was out, he said, guys, get on my back. I'll do a little bit of the heavy grunting. I need y'all to take a little bit, but man, he has been absolutely excellent. Just the confidence he's showing. and his ability to show that he is absolutely clutch in really, really important situations. Because the Stars could have lost that second point here today. They
Easily.
could have. And Harley, for the second time in 2 games, make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, and since we're back on the good train, I'll give the Stars even some more credit there. I mean, easily you could have been pissed off and be like, the whistle blew. No reason that should be a goal. You could be throwing your butt around, slamming your stick on the boards. None of the Stars did that. Got right back to work and figured out a way to get the 2 points out tonight. And that is really some great maturity, I feel like, especially from from that forward group. I mean, easily you can get upset at your goalie not making a save for you there. You can get upset at the refs with a questionable call, but there was none of that. It was let's go score a goal, let's get 2 points, and they played really well in the overtime and got it done.
Lots of comments over here kind of talking about some defensemen and some other things that we've been discussing today. But Joe Mama, I don't think Nils played bad last game. It's just anytime he's not perfect, people notice. People, well, I'm not sure where he was going with that
Yeah,
part,
they're
but
looking
they
for
are looking
mistakes
for
for him.
mistakes. Yeah, and you know what? I feel like we do that with Ryan Suter a lot too. I feel like
Yeah.
we do that a lot with Ryan Suter because we feel like he takes away some ice time from some of the other guys. But lately, he hasn't been. I mean, he's been Pete DeBoer's been giving more ice time to Thomas Harley, especially, and some of the other guys are getting more ice time as well with Yanni and Essa. And I mean, Suter is 5th in time on ice. That's exactly where we've been hoping he would get to, and it wasn't like that at the beginning of the season, and now it is.
And I think
So.
that makes him more effective too. With less time on ice, I think it lets him play better.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's get into a couple more players here tonight. The Wyatt Johnston line continues to be just surprising as all be. It's the 7th game they are together, and I mean Johnson. I could argue that Johnston was the best player on that line today. I
He
really
was.
thought. I honestly thought he was just with the aggression that he was showing. He was in the right spot at the right time. He had a couple of lucky bounces go his way, but when you're good and when you're doing well, I mean, those sort of things kind of happen for you.
And that shot, you do not pick a spot that small if you are just not confident as all get out. Goodness, he just lasered that in the top corner. That was insane shot.
Speaking of that top line, also I'll say it again. Robertson, I thought he was really good again in today's game. He wasn't as noticeable in the second and third period, but in the first period especially, he had 2 gargantuan chances that I thought he could have buried, and unfortunately he didn't. But we really need to discuss that the third member of that line, because I didn't think too much of it because it didn't look like much. But Rope Hintz, he did not come back for overtime in the game today, and he got hit up in the face twice. I think one was a hit that someone got him, and it wasn't like a malicious hit. It just kind of
Yeah,
things happen.
I think that
And
hit was more him falling on his hip really hard after that because he got hit and he kind of landed and fell back hard on his leg, and he's out for one shift, and then he comes back and gets hit right in the face. And I think he's fine. I think it's a thing that like it could take you out for a couple games just because you got the either stitches or he's got teeth coming out. But I think there couldn't have been a better time for it to happen with getting a week and a half off. He should be back for the next game, maybe with a cage or something. But yeah, that was just a rough third period for him. But I expect he'll be fine. I was more worried about the hit because on plays like that where you just fall weird, that can lead to some bigger problems. Getting hit in the face, yeah, it hurts and it sucks, but normally it's just cosmetic and you can take care of that and won't have an issue playing.
let's get to the second line today, because obviously the big storyline coming into today's game was the fact that on December 7th, Matt Duchene played his 1,000th game in the NHL against the Washington Capitals in Washington, and he actually gets honored today with a silver stick from Jim Nill and the Stars organization, a Rolex watch from the Stars, and then also lots of just cool things to see from Matt Duchene from the video montage that the Stars put together for him. And he scores today. He scores. And when he got that goal in the third period and early in the third period, the 4th goal for the Stars, I thought that was the game. I thought, okay, we got the insurance marker, and
And
that's
it
it.
was for the majority of the period. I mean, really, the Caps obviously had more shots in that last period. there wasn't anything dangerous until we got the penalty and there was the 6-on-4, and it all happened at once. So yeah, great by that line. They've probably been the most consistent line this year, consistently putting up points, consistently looking dangerous. Even when Duchene's not putting up points, he looks like the best player on the ice. Like, he looks like he's playing better when he's not getting points because he's trying harder. But he's been fantastic. I love the writing on his tape on the stick, "Try Texas," and it's worked out for him this year.
And we also got to give him credit for the final goal. In Harley's goal, he was the one that was there on the back check and allowed that goal to happen.
Yep.
So
only Duchene and Harley are allowed to play good in our overtime because they're the only together they have 5 goals. That's crazy.
Right. That is insane. And then obviously we got to kind of do a shout out for Mason Marchment, who has been playing much better. And the thing about him is he has been playing better defensively in his own zone compared to last year. Now, you still see some of those giveaways that he has, but that's part of his game. But the thing that's allowed him to not receive as much criticism this year is he's backed it up with points in the offensive zone. And now I believe he's almost up to 20 goals. I think he's getting really close to a point per game pace for the Stars. I think he's up to almost 40. I think he's like in the upper 30s. I don't know off the top of my head, but Chris will look it up here for me and tell me. But him and Tyler Seguin, especially, that Seguin again, there you go, Ardell, is continuing for Tyler. And that line, there's not much more you can say about them other than they've been the best line for the Dallas Stars consistently through the whole season.
Yeah, a goal and an assist tonight for Marchment, and his defensive play has definitely been a lot better. I mean, it's the back checking, I think, more than anything. When he's getting back, he's getting back with the same speed that he's using to get into the offensive zone. And that's exactly what you want to see. And even if he's not always in the perfect position when the cycle's going on, the effort on the defensive end is enough to, and his point production is enough to cover up kind of a little bit of that defensive liability. So fully agree. He's been so much better this year. And just as I predicted, I just gave up on him a little bit too early this year, but he bounced back after the first couple of weeks and he's been fantastic ever since. Yeah, he's got 16 goals so far in the season. He's well on pace to get 20. He should get 25 before the season's up.
Talek Lizzie, I'm glad Marchment is proving me wrong. Words are hard, I guess. Wasn't a fan at all last season. Yeah, I agree. We gave him a lot of money, expecting a little bit more. He didn't really produce much last season. This year, with him and Duchene and Seguin, they have absolutely been excellent. And Duchene's a big catalyst for that reason. Third line. I really thought the third line was really good tonight as well. Seguin and Ben in particular. This was an interesting stat to point out, Chris. But Craig Smith had 2 hits. Jamie Benn had 5.
Yep, so, he was throwing the weight around tonight.
Yes, and especially with him on that third line now, and he can continue to do that. I want to see more of that from Jamie Benn moving forward. He does get an assist tonight, so he's still quietly kind of doing his role. Of course, he's probably getting overpaid right now for what he's being asked to do, but still, with him on that line with Pavelski, who continues to do really well, he got robbed several times today, and Steele is an excellent addition to that third line, a guy who we saw as the fourth line guy, and he's proven that he belongs on that third role.
Yeah. And that line has been executing their game plan perfectly. I mean, it's definitely different than the top 2 lines. Top 2 lines are wheeling and dealing, making some high flying pass, moving fast. These guys are getting to the zone, get it up top, make traffic, and find a way to put it in. That's how the first Harley goal goes in. Excellent screen by Ben. They were both ready to sop up the gravy if any were to fall out from Lindgren, and they've just been executing so well. And even those Pavelski chances, I don't know how he didn't score. Right in front of the net, right around the crease. And I think that line is going to be so effective because of how different it is from those first 2 lines. Those first 2 lines are on the cycle. They're not really in front of the net that much. If they're in front of the net, it's to receive a pass to shoot. These guys are in front of the net to make some garbage go in. And I think that's going to be an excellent kind of contrast from those first 2 lines, and it's been working.
Yes, agreed. And I know
Joe moved down 2 lines, and his production hasn't fallen off.
Not really. No, I mean, he still has 19 goals, 24 assists, 43 points in the 49 games we've seen this season so far. And I mean, he had an assist in the game against the Ducks. He had 2 assists in the game against the Islanders. He had a goal against the Devils, and that's just in the last 5 games. So it's not like he's seriously his ability to not get points is kind of declining. A lot of his stuff he obviously does on the power play, but he was good again today. And I know you said that about, that's kind of their point and how they get traffic in front of the net and stuff like that. But the Pavelski chances where one was robbed and the other he hit the post and within like 3 seconds of each other, that was just a pass to the slot. That's all it was. It wasn't even a shot from the point. So it's cool to see that you got a third line who can still score. And a lot of teams would probably love to have those three guys as their second line.
Yeah,
just saying.
For sure. And yeah, their
So
ability to make moves in front of the net and deep in the slot is just fantastic. And something the other two lines don't have.
I am a little frustrated with Sam Steele and the penalty that he took, but at the same time, the Stars, they've allowed 4 power play goals now in the last 4 games, and they've allowed 3 against Detroit and 1 tonight or this afternoon. So maybe this was a good time for the for the season to pause for a second and kind of dive into, what's kind of going on with the power play or with the penalty kill. And because that definitely needs to be better than it has been, especially in the last month and a half.
Unfortunately, it's kind of obvious what's going on with the penalty kill, and that's Lindell and Hakanpää not playing good enough. I mean, that's their job on this team, is to kill penalties and make sure none go in. And they have not been good on the penalty kill recently, and they haven't been good 5-on-5 recently. Tonight, they both still ended with a -1 on a game where we score 5 goals. So that pairing is not done well the past 2 weeks.
And that's the other thing. Yeah, Ardell with exactly what I was thinking.
That's a good point.
PK begins with Otter. It absolutely he has to play better. He has to play better. So,
and he will.
Yeah, he absolutely will. So, just to throw some stats at you guys today, shots 35-28. So the 5th time in 5 games that the Stars have 35 or more shots in a game.
Great.
Block shots 20-14 for the Capitals. Power play 1 for 2 for both teams. Stars dominate the faceoff circle again. No big surprise. 38-23. And then again, no surprise. The hits are 20-12 in favor of Washington. The Stars are not an overly physical team. And I wanted to get into this as the last thing, Chris, and then we'll do biggest winner, biggest loser. I know we're kind of going a little long today, but there was a lot to talk about with this game.
And we'll be gone for a week, so.
Yeah, and yeah. Although I do have one thing that I think we need to discuss, but maybe we'll discuss it live here in a moment. But the Stars' inability to play physically, is that something that we should be worried about? Because one of the things we see consistently in the playoffs is that playoff hockey is definitely different than regular season hockey. And this is scary to think about, because one of the teams that I'm thinking about right now in the wheeling and dealing that they do with their offense is the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs are an excellent regular season team. They have great offensive numbers. They do really well, and then they falter in the playoffs. And this year, more so than last year, we're seeing the Stars rise in the goals for category. We're top 5 there. I think we're 2nd or 3rd actually now. Is that something that should be a cause of concern for the Stars going into the playoffs, and the fact that the physicality is really not there? Or is it just they just haven't focused on that and they can when they get to the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know if they can, but I think that's definitely going to be a question mark going into the postseason. I think they need to try and figure out when the playoffs come how to strike that balance of answering some of the physicality that's going to get thrown at them, because that is going to happen, especially on the forecheck. Our defensemen are going to get attacked, and they're going to be forced to make good plays under pressure. But they need to find a way to answer that a little bit, but stay within our game and keep playing Stars hockey. You saw that with the Minnesota game last year. They were absolutely the only strategy was beat up the Dallas Stars. They know that they were not as skilled of a team. Their bottom 3 lines, their only job was to attack, find a way to get a greasy goal maybe, but to really rough up the Stars' best players. And that was the goal, and it obviously didn't work. The Stars had to stay within themselves and play Stars hockey and not buy into what they were doing. The issue that you saw in the Vegas game is that was a good team that also played physical. And that's kind of what took the Stars out of that series, I feel like, because Ben tries to step up and make something physical happen, and obviously goes way overboard and gets suspended for those 2 games. And that's a huge point in that series. So being able to find that balance of answering a little bit, but staying in your game and keeping the pace of play the way you want it to be played is going to be big for this team in the postseason. And there's not going to really be a way, I feel like, to see that happen until we get there. I mean, maybe these big games against Colorado or Vegas later on in the season, you get a little bit of that, but it's going to be something that is going to matter way more when we get to postseason hockey.
And the thing is this Stars team has guys who can kind of bang the body a little bit. I mean, we showed Jamie did it tonight with 5 hits. One guy who hasn't done it very much, and there's an obvious reason why, is Mason Marchment. He's been on that line with Sagan and Duchesne, and that's not their game. So Marchment has kind of transformed his game to try and match those 2 guys, and it's really worked out for him. So I don't really want to go out and, when we get to a playoff series and it's like that, and we may be losing a series or whatever, and ask Mason Marchment, hey, we need you to bang the body a little bit and go after guys, because that loses his effectiveness, I would think. And I think in the past, when he gets a little bit more physical and he starts to get in kind of people's face and stuff like that, that's when he takes stupid penalties, and then it puts the Stars on the penalty kill.
And that's exactly where I'm getting at. You need to find a way to raise the intensity a little bit, but not let it affect your game. And that's the tough part. And that's something we're going to only see when we play these rough, physical, high emotion games.
And we're going to have to see more guys in the bottom 6 maybe have to be more physical with Steele, Foxa, maybe even Smith a little bit too.
The other thing is that we've seen teams win that don't have to be extremely physical like that too. I mean, the Colorado Avalanche just 2 years ago is the perfect example. I mean, there is not a lot of aggression on that team. I agree. There maybe
have a lot of aggression.
The Stars have a couple of guys too, and that's really all I think you need. And it needs to be able to answer when you have to answer and avoid it as much as possible. Is honestly where I think you need to be at with this team, because we can outscore pretty much anything.
All right, let's wrap this up, Chris, because we've already gone a little far today in today's episode. So, biggest winner, biggest loser, who have you got, Christian Avery?
Biggest winner is Thomas Harley. He is a rookie. 2 goals tonight. Game winner again. I mean, this guy is insane.
Who have you got for your biggest loser?
Biggest loser, I'm going to give it to Otter. I mean, I guess you can't point at one terrible goal tonight, but there's 3 of those goals are very savable for him, especially for Jake. Those are his strong suits, and he didn't do it tonight.
Maybe we're being too hard on Jake Ottinger, and there were just lucky goals. But man, we need a save. I mean, just one in that game doesn't go to overtime, and we add a regulation win to our total, because that could absolutely kill us if we get to the end of the season and we're still close in points. Like the top, exactly, it's a tiebreaker. But in all 3 of the teams in the Central, I mean, there's no one close. Like Nashville, there's no way they're catching up right now. It doesn't look like it. So it could. I mean, that could affect whether the Stars have home ice advantage in the playoffs, which could be a giant thing. So we just need more regulation wins going forward from the Stars there. Since you picked the obvious one for Thomas Harley, I'll give mine to Matt Duchesne. Congrats to him on 1,000 games. I'm so happy that even if it's just for 1 year, that he's a member of this Dallas Stars team. It's been an absolute pleasure and blessing to watch this guy play hockey for this team. It's been so much fun. It really has.
He is fun to watch. It's definitely going to be a season to remember for him. Hopefully we can find a way to fit him in this cap space, but oof. That's a discussion for the offseason.
Yeah, you just opened a can of worms, and I'm like, we'll get into that maybe tomorrow night. We'll see. But honorable mention to Bo Duchesne for the goal in warmups. Yeah, that's so cool, man. Like, I love to see stuff like that.
And I love the cowboy hat. He's bought into Texas. He's
yes, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It was really cool to see that, and I think it was Doug Miller on Twitter who had the video out there on Bruce Levine's post about that. So thanks to Doug for showing that, because that was really cool. That was so fun to watch. For me, the biggest loser, I mean, it's got to be Jake Ottinger. I mean, I'm not trying to hamper on him and everything like that, but he makes 20. There's 28 shots against. He only makes 24 saves out of those, and he ends the game with an 857 save percentage. That is extremely unlike Jake Ottinger. So
And right here, right now, Otter knows that he has to play better than that. I'm sure he's as
yes,
frustrated as we are. So as a sarcastic remarks family, just manifest him playing better. Only positive vibes for Jake Ottinger for the rest of the season. He is going to figure it out. He's going to be the best goaltender in the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. Everybody needs to believe it. Get on the bandwagon. Jake Ottinger
okay,
is the best goalie in the league.
okay. Sorry, one last question, Chris. Ovi, is he going to do it? Is he going to get to that record?
Oh, I
As
mean,
much as I hate that he scored today, I want to see him beat the record. I'm rooting for him for that.
it felt like for sure before the start of this season, but man, dropped off a cliff. I think he's gonna stay in until he does. Honestly, I think he's not gonna retire until he gets it.
He's gonna pull a Yager and continue to play in the NHL till he's like 46 or
Yeah,
something.
he'll
And
just bounce
just
around
get
to
like
the
10
Ducks
goals a
or
game, 10 goals a year or something.
exactly. I really feel like he might do that. The dude just lives and breathes hockey.
Oh man. Well, okay. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here tonight. Chris, anything else?
Nope. Go hockey. 6 for 6 going into the freaking All-Star break. We are in a great spot. Striking distance for the division. I mean, we're gonna take it. This is a good start to the season, and we haven't even played our best hockey yet. So much more to figure out, and we got a whole half the season to do it.
Like I said multiple times, we're just in third gear and we have a 6-speed car.
Yeah,
That's what
just
I
wait
really
till we
think
get
it
there.
is.
Just
Yep.
wait till we get there.
Well, thank you again to DraftKings Sportsbook for being our sponsor. Use that promo code THPN next time you go and use their services. And as always, thank you guys who are listening live. We appreciate y'all that are doing that. There's more of you that are listening later. We appreciate y'all as well. If y'all like anything you've heard today or you like to support us in what we do, please consider leaving a 5-star review anywhere you listen to your podcast, anywhere on your favorite podcast platform. Click subscribe and like on YouTube there. Just do it. It's like right down there somewhere, I think. And then, as always, go and check out sarcasticremarks.com. There's going to be some articles coming from me over this next week without some hockey. I'm going to be a little starved for content when it comes to Stars hockey. So maybe I'll throw some of my own out there. And as always, go and check out sarcasticremarks.shop.com, for all the latest merch options. That's the best way to support us and what we do. Along with Chris, my name is Ryan. We will catch you guys on the flip side, and we hope you guys have a good, fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are listening. And Chris, if you will do us a favor and take us out.
Capitals? More like the lowercase. GG, boys.